The cookie choice of the decade. Most of the nation's families still lived on farms and in rural areas where molasses was used more commonly than sugar. When chores were finished, children trooped to the cookie jars for cookies just like these. Let's make the best cookie of 1910, the ginger cream. All right, for the ginger creams, we are going to start by mixing shortening, sugar, eggs, molasses, and water thoroughly. So we've got some more shortening here. Mix the shortening, the sugar, 1/4 cup of sugar. Again, I'm doing a weird half egg because I'm breaking the recipe in half. So I have to kind of guesstimate what a half an egg is. If that screws up my recipe, live and learn, I guess. Okay. Molasses, 1/4 cup of molasses. Never really cooked with molasses before. Kind of excited though. For ginger creams, it's a lot of molasses. We're making molasses cookies as part of this project as well. We'll see how much molasses is in the molasses cookies. Then, water. Once again, the shortening is kind of a weird clump of stuff. Should the shortening have been melted? Sometimes you need the texture of the like softened butter or shortening, like it's part of the cookie. But something's going on here that I don't like. It's supposed to be mixed thoroughly. This isn't mixed thoroughly. It's a bunch of fat floating in the water. Now we're gonna add some flour. Again, during this cookie project, I'm kind of not doing the mix the dry separate from the wet and then combine. Nobody has the time. And maybe we'll all learn that that's a useless step. Or maybe not. We'll learn together. Now we're gonna put in some salt and soda, some baking soda, some salt. My philosophy is that all of this dry is gonna sit on top and we're gonna kind of mixy, and then it will mixy. Does that make sense? And it'll be almost the same as if it was in a different container. Okay, now a bunch of spices. 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. They are ginger creams after all. Then 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, and then we'll combine. I don't know why I've suddenly become so compelled to have an opinion about mixing wet versus dry separately. It's all gonna come together. Literally. Smells like a pumpkin pie. So that's interesting. Okay, this is gonna chill in the fridge. I hope it gets a lot harder so that we could scoop the cookies. So we'll let it chill for a while and then we'll be back. Betty's got a note on ginger. From tropical climates comes ginger, prized for its pungent flavor or bite. Known since Marco Polo's day, ginger has lent its name to ginger ale and gingerbread. And ginger has found its way into our vocabulary, meaning someone who is spirited and lively. Ground ginger, which we use in baking cookies and cakes, is made from dried ginger root. Ginger is also preserved in syrup or crystallized and used as a confection. Okay, our ginger cream dough has been in the fridge. It still is very wet looking, but the recipe says it's gonna spread slightly during baking, so I think it's supposed to be a bit of a gloopy cookie dough. I'm gonna go ahead and scoop it onto our cookie sheet about 2 inches apart from one another. This dough looks so dark compared to what I was expecting. When you think about ginger, like the ground spice or the root, it's like light colored, but then I remembered that gingerbread is a thing. And if these are like gingerbread cookies, then this color makes more sense to me. And maybe even the texture, I don't know. We'll see how they taste. All right, we'll get these in the oven at 400 for about 8 minutes. Let's take a look at some historical highlights from 1910. In 1910, fathers were honored at the first Father's Day in Spokane, Washington. In 1914, electric refrigerators for home use were introduced. In 1919, World War I ends, and the American doughboys came home. In 1920, women were granted voting rights by the passage of the 19th Amendment. Okay, it's time for the final step for the ginger creams, which is to add the cream. I've got some powdered sugar here, and I'm gonna add to that a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. We're just making like a little easy cream icing. So then it says to add 1.5 tablespoons of cream. I wanna take it easy. It's very easy with powdered sugar based creams to get like too thin too quickly. So I'm just gonna add it a little bit at a time and go from there. Because we want it thick enough to kind of ice the cookie with. A gorgeous creamy icing. So now I'm just gonna take each of our ginger cream cookies and just dollop some icing on top. Kind of spread it out like that on top. They do really smell like gingerbread. I think this is gonna be a really good one. I think like just kind of adding it towards the center and letting it slowly melt over the sides will look kind of cute. Okay, I'm gonna keep icing and then we'll give them a taste. All right, let's try our ginger creams. It's like a gingerbread cookie mixed with like pumpkin bread or some kind of like cake. It's very fluffy, very decadent, very like kind of spicy cookie with the very creamy frosting is a perfect combination. It's absolutely delicious. Ooh, ginger creams, the best cookie of 1910.